How good does that sound? The Times editor-in-chief saying basically we are living through the age of Donald Trump. Of course, there's a lot riding on his shoulders because if he can't deliver on his promises, that will, of course, damage the Republican Party moving forward for years to come. However, I am optimistic that we'll have a repeat of the success from 2016, all right? And also, Bill Ackman coming out and saying that Donald Trump is the most pro-business president in our lifetimes, all right? Because all Donald Trump really wants to do is make America great again, want America to succeed again, create jobs, create businesses, create successes for all of our citizens to be a part of. However, this is just simply asking too much for certain people on the left. But before we get to these clips, please like and comment so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
Well, take a look at this. Donald Trump is Time Magazine's Person of the Year. Now, if they wanted to make someone Person of the Year, they would have made someone who, and my God, I'm sure he loves this, right? If they wanted to make someone Person of the Year, I don't know, they could have done it with any person. People who they could have done it to someone who actually stood for democracy, who stands for democracy in the country. Now, you think about what encompasses Person of the Year. Just because you are elected president of the United States does not mean that you should be Person of the Year. What Time Magazine, what are you doing? Let me ask you, Time Magazine. What do you say to the women who, I guess, still read Time Magazine? Or the women who don't they do like a whole Time 100 thing or something, which, what about the women who are on that list? What about that? I'm sure some of them will had dealt with issues that women have to deal with, like discrimination in the workplace, SA, all kinds of things. You have someone on the cover of your magazine who is an adjudicated assaulter. You have someone who inspired an insurrection. You have someone who, without a doubt, the evidence is there, tried to overturn a free and fair election. You had someone who had multiple criminal counts and found guilty on multiple criminal counts. And you name them Person of the Year? Is this a joke? Did we get something wrong? Did someone scam us? Are we sure about this, producers? There is a convicted felon on the cover of Time Magazine as the Person of the Year. Maybe we're being scammed. Did someone put out a fake tweet or something about this?
So Don Lemon apparently just simply can't understand why Donald Trump would be picked to be Person of the Year. Never mind the fact that, of course, we have one of the greatest political comebacks in modern history. Never mind the fact that, of course, Donald Trump actually won the popular vote as well as the Electoral College. Never mind the fact that Donald Trump has beaten off the lawfare from states and the federal government. And also never mind the fact that, yes, Donald Trump had 2 attempts on his life while on the campaign trail, right? All of these things, of course, are incredibly notable. But to Don Lemon, oh, what about the women in the lawfare cases that were brought against Donald Trump? Well, apparently nobody believed that garbage because Donald Trump ended up increasing his support across all demographics, okay? So Don Lemon, I'm sorry you have such sour grapes about this, but nobody agrees with you. And now everybody's trying to be on the good side of Donald Trump, which is actually kind of surprising. He's finally getting that honeymoon period as president that most people get after winning such a contested race. And of course, there's another mud ball in the eye for Don Lemon. It's the American people who also believe in Donald Trump.
President is going to enter office with a little bit of a honeymoon. Take a look here. Donald Trump has a 55% approval rating. That's not normally a support level we see for him as it relates to his handling of the transition right now. 45% disapprove. Compare this to 8 years ago when Donald Trump first won the presidency in November 16. At this point, he was at 46% approval of his handling of the transition. That went even lower in January of 17 before he took office to 40%. Today, he stands at 55%. What are your expectations for how Trump will be as president? A majority of Americans, 54%, say they expect him to do a good job as president. And we ask specifically, do you have confidence in all of these areas about how Trump will perform and his ability to handle it? And once again, as we saw throughout the campaign, the economy is issue number 1 of his strength. 65%, 2/3 of Americans in this poll say they have some or a lot of confidence in Trump's ability to manage and handle the economy as president. And you see Russia, Ukraine followed there, then immigration, and his leadership skills, his what he intends to use his power for, whether that'll be responsibly not, a bit lower. But again, all of this is majority support.
Now, I'm going to be honest. I actually missed the polling, right? During the election, we had the daily polls, the weekly polls, the monthly polls, right? I love keeping track of the sentiment of the American people. Now, granted, a lot of them turned out to be garbage, but we did have quite a few who were doing a good job of keeping track of that. So over here, this is actually CNN's own poll, right? So this is their viewership, their watchers. And what are they saying? Yes, they trust Donald Trump vastly on the economy, on dealing with this whole Russia-Ukraine conflict, and on immigration. And notice, providing leadership, nearly 60% on that as well. And he's above water on all of these important indicators. So who do the American people trust right now? It is, of course, Donald Trump. And that, of course, is why everyone's saying this win was a mandate for his agenda, right? Close the borders, deport illegals, bring down prices, grow businesses, increase world safety, right? All of these things are on Donald Trump's shoulders. And that's a big mantle to carry, but hopefully he can pull it off. But apparently the pundits over on CNN did not pay any attention to this poll.
Time magazine has chosen Donald Trump as Person of the Year, a distinction bestowed upon the individual or group deemed most influential this past year. Trump held the title once before, back in 2016. He will celebrate today by ringing the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. This puts Trump in the ranks of past winners Winston Churchill, Taylor Swift, Joseph Stalin, and nearly every U.S. president since FDR. Despite previously claiming the magazine lost credibility for not including him in past rankings, Trump had this reaction when he first earned the title in 2016.
Well, it's a great honor. It means a lot, especially me growing up reading Time magazine, and it's a very important magazine, and I've been lucky enough to be on the cover many times this year, and last year. But I consider this a very, very great honor.
A very, very great honor. If you've ever been in Donald Trump's office in Trump Tower, you know that there are framed Time magazines on his wall. For someone, a creature of the 80s, it's like the ultimate honor.
Absolutely, and I think he's really gunning for Richard Nixon's long-standing title of having the most Time covers. But yeah, he is like I think this is something that's underappreciated, even though we talk about all the podcasts and everything else. Trump fundamentally is still sort of a creature of the 80s. He still reads the print New York Times, the print New York Post, and Time magazine.
Perhaps gunning for Nixon's legacy in other ways as well. We shall see.
So notice how they try to downplay this event, right? Donald Trump is going to be on the cover of Time magazine, the same magazine that had Stalin on the cover, that had Nixon on the cover, which apparently to a leftist is even worse, right? And maybe Donald Trump will go the way of Nixon as well. Right? They wish. So apparently these pundits don't quite understand that by saying that Time magazine, oh, it's just a print magazine, and Donald Trump is this person from the 80s, right? They're trying to say this really doesn't carry as much weight as it used to. And honestly, it's correct. It doesn't. But CNN is in the same category. You're part of that dinosaur legacy media as well, right? A little bit further along than print, but not by much, right? People are tuning out to CNN. And of course, some data just came out that revealed that CNN actually gets less watchers than HGTV, than the Discovery Channel, right? People would much rather watch folks renovate houses than see the garbage they are spewing in what they call news, okay? But of course, that's where we're at. This is the age of Trump, and hopefully everything will go swimmingly over the next 4 years. At least I've got my fingers crossed for that. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.